All right, today we are talking more about linear equations. Yesterday you wrote equations in slope-intercept form, and today you're going to be writing equations in point-slope form. So the point-slope form of a line is, the equation falls into this format. Y minus your y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus your x sub 1. Where x sub 1, y sub 1 is a point on the line, and m, like yesterday, is the slope. All right, so today what you're going to be doing is writing equations in this form. So the first part of your assignment, you're going to be asked to write an equation given a point and slope. So let's say that we're going to kind of do a column here. And in this first column, we're going to make it the slope column, and then the point column, then the equation column. All right, so if you're given a line with a slope of 3/5 and you're told that it goes through the point 3/4, here's the equation. The equation has to fall into this format. It's got to be in this format. And what this format means is, for writing an equation purposes, the letter y, and then the opposite of your y value at the point that you're given. So this goes -4 equals. And then the slope, which is 3/5. Left parenthesis and the letter x. And then the opposite of the x value of the point that you're given. So -3, close the parentheses. There's your equation in point slope form for the given point and slope. The whole key to this, it's a really easy way to write an equation of a line. But look, next to the y right here goes the opposite of this y value. Those two are opposite of each other. and next to the x goes the opposite of the x value. All right? Just make sure that you negate them from the point to the equation or from the equation to the point. They have to have the opposite signs of each other. So if you've got a line that's got a slope of -3 and it goes through the point 7, -1, here's the equation again. It's the letter y and then the opposite of this y value. So in this case, it would be +1. Is equal to the slope, which is -3, left parenthesis and the letter x, and then the opposite of the x value at the point on the line. So this is a -7. Write an equation with a slope of 1/2 that goes through the point -5, 6. So it's the letter y minus 6 equals the slope, left parenthesis letter x, and now the opposite of the x value at the point. So this would be a +5. All right, let's write one more with, let's go a negative slope of -2. And let's do the point with 2 negative coordinates. So -1, -2. So now your equation is y plus 2 equals -2 x plus 1. The whole key to writing the equations in this situation is that this y value from the point is negated in the equation, and same with the x value. Any questions there? Let's do one more here, and let's work backwards. So let's go with y minus 6 equals 3/4 times x plus 7. If you're given this equation and you're asked for the slope of this line is 3/4. A point on this line would be the opposite of this 7 right here, so -7 and +6. All right, the second thing you're doing today is you're going to be writing equations given 2 points. So when you're writing an equation given 2 points, you have to find the slope first. So let's say that you are given the 2 points. Here's your points. Three, 2, and 5. 3, 2, and 5, 8. What you don't have is the slope, and you've got to write the equation. So yesterday, the first part of your lesson, you found the slope of a line given 2 points. So in this case, when you have to write an equation and all you're given is 2 points, you got to find the slope. So yesterday we talked about labeling these. So the slope here would be your m would be equal to 8 minus 2 divided by 5 minus 3. So we get 8 minus 2 is 6, and 5 minus 3 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now you have a slope, and you have 2 points. So I'm just going to use the first point. And it's a repeat of what you just did. So you've got y minus 2 equals the slope, which is 3, times x minus 3. So if you're just given the points, find the slope first, and then write the equation. Going to do one more here. Given the points -5, 0, and 0, 7. Your m would be 7 minus 0 divided by 0 minus -5. 7 minus 0 would be 7. 0 plus 5 would be 5. Your slope is 7/5. Then I'm going to use the first point again. So look, this would be y. You're not going to write -0. We talked about that last week. So since your y value at this first point is 0, we're just going to write y equals the slope, which is 7/5, times x, and then plus 5. All right, any questions on writing a equation of a line given 2 points? All right, standard form. Of a linear equation. Standard form of a linear equation looks like a times x plus b times y is equal to c, which is a constant. All right, and this is where a, b, and c are real numbers. And a and b are not 0. Okay, so We're going to write an equation in standard form. And you're going to be given the equation in slope-intercept. So if y is equal to 3/4 x minus 5, we got to take an equation that's in this form right here, and we got to make it look like this. And by look like this, I mean, I can do it right here. What's in front of your y, all right, is your b in this example. What's in front of your x is your a. And the constant is your c. So we have to take this equation and we got to make it look like this one. That means this 3/4 x, which represents your ax, needs to get from the right side of the equal sign to the left side of the equal sign. All right? So if you got this y equals 3/4 x minus 5, and you subtract 3/4 x from each side, then you get negative 3/4 x plus y is equal to negative 5. And you're closer. Well, you're not closer. You're done. But I forgot to give you some of the directions here. Write an equation in standard form, then there's a comma. You have to say use integer coefficients. What that means is A and B need to be whole numbers. Your A and your B values need to be whole numbers. In this case, you have a 3/4. When you have a fraction in front of the x or the y, you multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator of the fraction, or a multiple of both denominators. All right? When there's a fraction in front of one of this, in front of the x or the y, multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator of the fraction. So when you take this equation and you need integer coefficients and you multiply the left side by 4, you got to multiply the right side by 4. Now, this 4 on the left has to get distributed to everything. So when you do your 4 times negative 3/4 x, you get negative 3x. It eliminates the fraction. 4 times your y is 4y, and it's equal to negative 20. And there's your equation in standard form with integer coefficients. Can y'all handle that? I'm sure you can. Now let's do one where you're given decimals. So let's say you got y equals 9.1x plus 3.6. So the first step is going to be the same. We got to get this 9.1x to the other side. So we subtract 9.1x from each side. So negative 9.1x plus y equals 3.6. Now we got to get rid of these decimals. Okay? So let's put a little note right here. Multiply by denominator. Multiply by denominator, and that tells us that here we got to do this and this and this. Now, the technique to get rid of decimals. These decimals are both in the tenths place. So if both your decimals or your largest decimal is in the tenths place, then you multiply by 10. That will get rid of those decimals. So if we take this whole left side and we multiply it by 10, and the right side by 10, 10 times negative 9.1 is negative 91, right? X plus 10y equals 36. And now you're in standard form with integer coefficients. So we multiplied by 10 right here because we had one decimal in the tenths place and another decimal in the tenths place. All right, next we take these lines that are in standard form now, we're going to graph them. So graph. This is called graph using intercepts. Graph using intercepts. You're going to be given a line in standard form. So let's take the line 3x. Here's our given. We got a 3x plus a 5y equal to 15. All right, we got to graph it. So when you have a line and it's in standard form and you have to graph it, you take the original equation and you rewrite it. Now, you go back to the first equation and you cross out the x. Because what you're doing is you're making x equal to 0 in one equation. And 3 times 0 would be 0, and the only thing left would be 5y. And you go to the second equation, and you do the same thing to the y. You cross out the y. Because we're simulating making y equal to 0. Because when y is equal to 0, we have an x-intercept. So you solve both of these. What did I do here? Divide both sides by 5 to begin with. Your y is equal to 3. Then divide both sides by 3. Your x is equal to 5. Now, if you draw the coordinate plane, and on your x-axis, you put a point on 5. So 1, 2, 3. Here's 5, and you put a point there. And on the y-axis, you plot a 3. So here's 3 on the y-axis. You plot your 3. And then you put a line through the 2 points. So there's the graph of that original 3x plus 5y equals 15 equation. Let's do one more. Let's say now we're given 2x minus 4y is equal to 8. If 2x minus 4y is equal to 8, we're going to write it again. Going to get rid of the x in the first one and y in the second one. Divide both sides by -4 in the first equation, and your y is equal to -2. Divide both sides by 2 in the second equation, and your x is equal to 4. Y-axis, x-axis. We are going to 4 on the, I don't know why I did that. Four on the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. -2 on the y-axis. And connect your points. And there's your graph of 2x minus 4y is equal to 8. All right, so if you don't have any questions, your practice for today. Page 86 in your handout. Page 86 in your handout, 1 through 5. One through 5, and then we got 10 through 31. If there's work required, guys, you need to show your work. All right? When you're finding the slope of a line, you need to show your work. If there's work required, show your work. Otherwise, I can't give you any credit. This is going in the basket. or you're going to be emailing me. Email a picture. If you're at home and you don't have any questions, you are excused at this time to complete your assignment. Some of you, a lot of you, a fair amount of you, both at home and in class, you guys just keep letting your zeros on assignments pile up, or you keep letting your incomplete assignments pile up. And what I mean by pile up is you don't do them. And when you don't do them, you get zeros for them. And a lot of you aren't taking care of your missed work, so you don't get credit for it. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's right here. When you don't do the work that's required of the class, you don't get credit for the class. I hope everybody understands that. It's like having a job. You don't show up for work, you don't get a paycheck on Friday. I did? When did you check it last? Yeah, you got to check it later in the day than that, because check it again now.